Hello, in this video in the beginner mate series we are going to explore how to checkmate with a rook versus a bear king, and you'll be happy to hear it's rather straightforward. You just have to be careful for a stalemate possibility. So let us start with this position. The first thing to do is to cut off the king by moving the rook and preventing the king from moving up the board. Black is trying to stay in the center, and then the second order of business is to bring the king closer. Note that we're not just giving check, we just make sure that the king is all pushed away, and then at the end we're going to give checkmate. King d4, king c6, and then king to c4. Now from this position I will actually demonstrate to you two different techniques of checkmating. For the purist, I will actually start with the quickest way to checkmate, and afterwards I will show you a different technique of checkmating, which is actually easier, but it will take a bit more moves, but you can then follow the pattern. So what you can spot here is that the kings are opposite of each other, and it is white's move. It's very key. This is called opposition in chess, and it basically also means that the black king can never move towards the white king, so it has control over the fifth rank in this example. So the quickest way to checkmate is to make the box smaller, and we will be doing that by rook d5. As you can see, the black king is now boxed in, as it cannot go anywhere where the white rook has control, and it needs to move inward, let's say b3. Then we instantly make the box smaller again with rook to c5. King to b4, want to stay at the edge of the box. King to b6, again taking opposition. Now king a3, and you guessed it, we make the box smaller. Now it is key to know that we now have the king all at the side of the board. Then you really don't need to make the box smaller anymore. We can go into checkmating mode. So king a4, king c5, king a3, king c4, bringing the king closer. Now if black plays king to a4, we move our rook almost anywhere on the fifth rank. Just make sure that it's not on c5, because then the king is in the way, as you will soon see. All squares are under white control except a3, so black is forced to move the king to a3. And now we swing our rook over and do the opposite. So now all squares are under the control of white except a4, so the king is forced back, and now rook to a2 is checkmate. So what if white does not move towards the rook, what if black does not move towards the rook but chooses to move away? Well, if king a2, as mentioned, don't make the box smaller anymore. I'll just show you what happens if you do. If now you continue making the box smaller with rook to b3, still a win, still technically okay, but king a1, king c3, king a2, king c2, king a1, and now you can actually win, but if you continue with the same pattern and move king b2, it's a stalemate. That's why it's best to just not follow that pattern anymore after the black king is on the edge of the board. So let's continue the proper moves. After king a2, we move king to c3, king a1, king c2, and now king a2, and again it's opposition. Rook to a5 is checkmate. So I promised you also a bit of more easy way to checkmate than to pay exact attention to the moves. In this position, instead of making the box smaller, we also have a checkmate pattern that you can just follow. That is by moving rook g4 check. The white king has control over b5, c5, and d5. The rook gives check, and now the black king needs to move backwards. We push the kings across each other. Black king goes towards the rook. Now we swing the rook over, and if the king moves to d3, again we have opposition, and we will repeat the pattern, and push black back again. So let's say king d3. As you can see, we have control over the squares in front, and we give check, and we force the king further back. So the black king wants to try to prevent that and plays king f3. Well, we just follow the king and play king e5. Now black doesn't want to move further towards the edge of the board and goes to e3, but now again we have opposition. Rook to a3 check, king to, let's say, f2, king to e4, king to g2, king to f4. Again we have opposition, check, king to e1, king to e3, king to d1, and as before, because the king is walking towards our rook, we swing the rook over to the other side. We have full control over the second rank, and if black moves the king towards e1, we would have opposition and we can checkmate. So black cannot do that. Black moves the king to c1. We go to d3, but now d1 is a problem, so black needs to go to b1 or be checkmated. We go to c3, and as you can see, the problem renews itself, because if black king goes to c1, it's checkmate, so it goes to a1. We go to b3, and black does not want to go to b1 because it's checkmate, but unfortunately for him, there is no other legal move, so he needs to go to b1. Move our rook to h1, and we celebrate and take a beer. Unless you're underage, then you take a chocolate milk or whatever you like. Thank you for watching, and check out other beginner videos on how to checkmate. Let me know in the comments what kind of mates you would like to see, and hope to see you in next videos. Bye bye.